throughout the world as the Crossbuster, signaled their rejection of the status quo at a time when Christian conservatism was bleeding into mainstream American culture. Bad Religion arrived at just the right moment to say, I think about what's true and what are lies. This outlook commanded the attention of millions of angry and increasingly disaffected youth, not just in the Valley or Los Angeles or even Southern California, but all over the world. Bad Religion's subversive spirit and thought-provoking lyrics made it okay to be rebellious and intellectual. The music is punk, but the message is universal, and the lyrics in the band's impressive catalog of songs are more relevant now than ever. That's what makes Bad Religion's bold beginning so ironic. Its first recording wasn't Suicide, but the start of a 40-year career in rock and roll that continues to this day. It wasn't easy. Along the way, they broke up, drifted apart, and came back stronger than before. This is the story of how a group of teenagers from the Valley took LA by storm, lost everything, and worked their way back with a series of influential albums that changed the way America thinks about punk rock. But to understand how Bad Religion's unique sound paved the way for the mainstream success of punk rock bands that came after them, you have to go back to a blistering hot garage deep in the San Fernando Valley. Chapter 1. Welcome to the Hellhole. The story of the early LA punk scene takes place in Hollywood, but many of the scene's prime movers were from the San Fernando Valley. One of the first LA bands to make its mark, the Dickies, was from the Valley. When Lee Ving started Fear, he was living in Van Nuys. John and Dick's Denny of the Weirdos, a band whose image helped put the LA punk scene on the map, hailed from North Hollywood, a short hop over the Hollywood Hills. LA has always played fast and loose with its geography. The city's many film and television studios have made use of its abundant sunshine to create the impression that downtown LA was a car chase away from the beach with stops in Hollywood and Beverly Hills along the way. But the reality is more nuanced, and always has been. The boys from Black Flag, for instance, grew up closer to the surf and the sand than the Beach Boys. Although Frank Zappa's 1982 song Valley Girl suggests the Valley is a Hollywood-adjacent neighborhood that locates the Sherman Oaks Galleria as its cultural center, the Valley is actually a region of over 250 square miles and home to 1.77 million people. The part of the Valley that Bad Religion came from was closer to the Ventura County line than to Hollywood's city limits. It was as suburban gets, and El Camino Real High School was a typical suburban school. It had a large open campus, a renowned football team and cheerleading squad, and a decent track record of sending kids to college so they could become productive members of society. Improbably, El Camino Real was also the birthplace of one of the most influential punk rock bands in America. When classes started up in the fall of 1979, Greg Graffin showed up for his sophomore year with dyed black hair and a Black Flag t-shirt. Jay Bentley had cut his hair short and came to class with a t-shirt that declared, "Virgin." "I guess we're it," Jay said of the virtually non-existent punk scene at the school. The two sophomores had both gone to Hale Junior High, so they were familiar with each other. They had many mutual friends but bonded over their love of music. There weren't any other punks at El Camino Real, but that would soon change. Brett Gurwitz and Jay Ziskraut were both juniors and had already been in two bands together. The first, the Omega Band, never made it out of Ziskraut's parents' living room. They had a bit more success with their second attempt, the Quarks. They were a Beatlesque group that leaned toward new wave. Brett wrote songs, played guitar, and sang. Ziskraut played drums. Their one live gig was the afternoon talent show at El Camino Real. Brett's best friend, Tom Clement, knew Greg, who'd bragged to Tom that he was a really good singer. Tom had gone punk and was encouraging Brett to do the same by starting a band with Greg. Tom was smart enough to see that his two friends would make a good team when he introduced me to Brett, Greg said. We were both nerdy, intellectual types. Even though we were young.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.